Hello everyone, here are my tools. As you can see, I got a lot of them. But in today's video, I'm going to be running through the must-have essential tools for an apprentice electrician when you're first starting out. So, all from my personal experience, I know from being an apprentice what you do need, definitely. As I said before, there's a lot of tools in here, but not all of them are essential must-have. For example, you'll only use them not very often, some of the tools in here. So I'm going to be telling you which ones you definitely do need today. Number one on the list is definitely a pair of screwdrivers. If you don't have a pair of screwdrivers, you cannot begin your job. Simple. So you need a set of screwdrivers. I have about 7 here. And this is all you need really. 7, you don't need any more than this. I have long ones, small ones, posies, breaker drivers. They're all slimline. The Weira Pro slimline screwdrivers. I've had no problems with them and I definitely recommend them. I've spoke about them in a video I've done before. Definitely get these ones, but as for screwdrivers, you definitely need to get these. Just about 6 or 7 and then you're set. Next on the list is a pair of SIDECUTTERs. I have the Nipex ones, and these have pretty high leverage as well, which is good. But definitely need a pair of SIDECUTTERs. Cutting tie wraps, cutting cable, cutting everything. You'll need these every day, all the time. So, pair of SIDECUTTERs, number 2. Next on the list is pliers. Now, you need 2 sets of pliers. You'll need a normal pair of pliers and a long nose pair of pliers. Both of these are high leverage. I have the Nipex ones. Yeah, Nipex, it's done me well. As I say, they are a bit expensive. But if you want to spend the money on tools, Nipex is the best one. You don't need to, but yeah. Anyway, long nose pliers. You'll need these all the time. Pulling cables out from the wall. Yeah. Normal pliers, they just serve their purpose. You can even use them as a pair of SIDECUTTERs if they've got the little cut in there. And you just use these all the time. So yeah, having these 2 pairs of pliers is next on the list. And now let's move on to number 4. Next, we have a volt stick. Now here's my volt stick, Martindale one. And I definitely like having a volt stick anyway, because it's a simple, easy way of just detecting whether there's voltage or not. Or you can just use it to test whether a cable's alive sometimes. Which, yeah, it's not 100% reliable and it can be dangerous, and there are cases of people's volt sticks failing. But for my volt stick, I've never had a problem with it and it's always been reliable for me. So volt stick's the next one, and it's just a nice easy way of just indicating whether there's voltage and power and whether a cable's alive or not. Now, next on the list, you have a voltmeter. Now this is the best way of indicating whether something is live or not. So you don't want to always rely on your volt stick. You definitely do need a voltmeter as well. And you can do a range of things on this to test the voltage, the resistance and the current. But you definitely do need one of these. I have the Fluke one. Again, it's expensive. I paid like £150 for this. But yeah, you've got to get one of these. Next on the list is a tape measure. Now, you definitely need a tape measure. You use these all the time. I have the Milwaukee magnetic one. Yeah, just get a tape measure. I would advise investing in a quality tape measure because you can get ones which aren't durable and aren't magnetic. This one, in fact, magnetic. Here's the magnet on the end, attaches to metal. Brilliant. Despite there's bad reviews on this tape measure, some people have bad reviews on it saying it's not very durable. I've never had a problem with it. Mine hasn't bent. And yeah, great. You just get a tape measure. You definitely need one, and I'd invest in a good one. Okay, number 7 on the list, or number 8 if you counted both sets of pliers, is a spirit level. Now I have the Stanley one. This is magnetic again. Here's the magnets on the bottom, works very well. And yeah, you 100% need a spirit level. You use this all the time. I mean, people can argue that they can use their eye as a spirit level, but when you're first starting out as an apprentice, you don't quite gain that skill immediately. You need a spirit level, it works, and you don't want to be putting something on the wall and then finding out later on that it is not level. So having a spirit level handy all the time, just put it up and you can make sure and level off everything you do. Next device that you will want is a plug-in tester. Now, you use these all the time. It's just the easiest, best way of testing whether a socket's live without taking the socket off. Obviously, you can use other things, like you can just plug your radio into the socket or whatever. But yeah, this is easy. Just plug that in the socket and it just tells you whether the socket is live or not live. Great for when you're isolating circuits, so you can just make sure you've isolated the correct circuit. Yep. Plug-in tester, get one. Next on my list is a pair of grips. Now I have the Knipex grips, and these ones are adjustable just via this button here. Push the button down and you can change the grips. But yeah, you need a pair of grips. You use these for tightening up nuts, bolts. If you put in a stuffing gland, like the metal stuffing glands, the brass ones. If you're doing the couplers and the bushes and the lock rings, that kind of stuff. You need these, you need a pair of grips. So yeah, get a pair of grips. I have the Knipex ones. I really like the Knipex ones, and I think they're one of the best pairs I've got. I had a Stanley pair, but the Knipex pair are just way better. And yeah, brilliant tool. Next on the list is a hacksaw. Now you definitely need a hacksaw, unless you do have a grinder. Obviously a grinder's better, quicker and more efficient. But a grinder also costs a lot of money. And when you're first starting out, you might not be willing to invest so much money into a tool like that. So a hacksaw is what you want. You can get these for like very cheap, £5, £10, £15, I don't know. But yeah, you use these to cut conduit, trunking, dado, etc. Basket, whatever. And yeah, mine needs a new blade, as you can tell. But hacksaw, brilliant. Definitely need one of these, the old fashioned way. Unless you have a grinder. Grinder's better, but hacksaw is the cheap way of doing it. Next on the list is a hammer. Now I don't use my hammer all the time, but I know a lot of people do. The people who use the P-clips to lock cable onto the wall, they use the ones with nails in. And when you've got nails, you need a hammer. So, hammer next on the list. You will be needing one of these. And yeah, get a hammer. Mine is the Stanley hammer. Not too expensive, I think it was maybe £10. Easy, and yeah, just into the toolbox. Next tool we have is a Stanley knife. Now I have the CK Stanley knife, which is a 2-in-1. As you can see, look, there's a Stanley knife there, and here's like a little pocket knife, 2-in-1 thing there. So I have one of these, and I can't get it back in because there we go, I'm holding two things at once, the camera and the Stanley knife. But yeah, get one of these. You can do it too. Like break through armoured cable, take the sheathing off, stuff like that. Yeah, Stanley knife, you can just use it for a lot of things, to be honest. I use mine all the time. I can't even remember a lot of the things I do with it. It's just very handy. Even like opening boxes or stuff, you can just use that. Very easy. One of the last things on the list is a set square. Set squares, you use these when you're measuring things up. If you're cutting a piece of tray, or a piece of trunking, or a piece of basket, or a piece of dado, you'd use one of these. So yeah, it's got all the measurements on. It's like a bit of a tape measure, and then it's got the 90 degrees. It's really good for just marking things up when you're about to cut something. Yeah, set square, combination square. I have the Magnusson one, and yeah, get one of these. Right, here we have a pad saw, which may also be known as a jab saw. I don't know what people call it. I call it a pad saw. But yeah, these things, you use them for cutting out a hole in a plasterboard wall. If you've got a plasterboard wall, just an easy way of cutting out the wall. You could also use a multi-tool, but that is a very expensive way of doing it. These things, very easy to use, very cheap to buy, maybe £10 you can get one of these for. I got the Stanley one, can't remember how much I bought it for, but yeah. You can also use these for cutting holes in ceiling tiles. Now the last thing I'd like to talk about in this video is power tools. Now power tools should not be something that you have to buy straight away, but it's definitely something you have to keep in mind. At the start you should be able to borrow people's power tools, but when you do get to the point of needing to buy a power tool as an apprentice, the first one I go for, in my opinion, is the impact driver. You will use this all the time, and it is very essential. But what I'm saying is, at the start, you'll probably be able to borrow one from someone else. But I'll get to a point where you'll need to start buying all these. So SDS, combi drill, impact driver, and I got a grinder as well. You do not need a grinder, but these are something that you have to keep in mind in the future. Well then, this is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I've put out all the tools here which I've discussed today. There's about 15 of them, I'd say. I haven't counted them, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. I'd much appreciate that. And subscribe if you want to see more of the content. I'm delivering very similar content to this, and there'll be a lot more to come in the future. You can also check out my other videos. The first video I did was my tool tour for being an apprentice, all the tools I had. I showed you everything. In this video I just showed a select range, in the video I show everything. But yeah, thank you for watching the video, and hopefully you'll tune back into another one of mine. See you later.